Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Dychronic, and today I'm taking a look at my top 15 weapons and armor for Season of the Plunder. And obviously this is the first week of the season, so this is just my best guess based on the rolls, the stats, my reviews, the other reviews I've seen from other people, etc. I obviously have not gotten all these things, and definitely not all the possible rolls. These are just the ones that I believe are going to be the best to farm for, given what I know. And obviously I can and will be wrong about some of these things. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I missed something. Moving on, let's go ahead and get into it, starting out with the exotic armor, of which I believe that all three of the new exotic armors are very interesting for a number of different things. First up, the Titan Armor Point Contact Cannon Brace. Now this one seems like it could be a lot of fun. However, right now I believe it's disabled because of a weird interaction. If it works properly, I believe it'll be interesting. If you've never heard of it, defeating targets with your Thunderclap melee, which I believe is the new one, restores melee energy, which I believe should be 100%. If it's not, this may be terrible. Furthermore, targets near you when you use your Thunderclap suffer lightning strikes, which I assume is like Cloud Strike and probably also disorients them. And being amplified increases the range of these lightning strikes, which is important because if you're doing the ranged melee attack, you want a ranged hit. Now here's the thing, I usually don't recommend melee because it's very dangerous. In this particular melee, even though it does insane damage, 60,000 damage, which is close to a rocket damage, can actually be used safely. You actually put a towering barricade in front of you, stand behind it, charge your melee, you actually lunge through it, allowing a somewhat safe ability to use this melee. The part that I think is interesting is that this allows you to use a very powerful melee that is an ability kill, which will interact with your subclass, giving you maybe Ionic Traces, giving you Jolted, Amplified, Super, etc, etc, and again, very high damage, means that it can scale into the higher level difficulty, but probably won't be seen in the highest level difficulty. I just think it'd be interesting. Following that, for the Hunter exotic, we have the Gyre Falcon's Holbrook. I hope I said that right. Now this one's interesting in a number of ways. In my opinion, it seems more like either a PvE solo item or a PvP item. If you've never heard of it, your weapons gain a bonus damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible, which obviously the hunters have like 3 or 4 different ways to go invisible. And this damage boost is 35% in PvE and 15% in PvP, which is basically the maximum for both modes. And furthermore, when you are invisible and defeat a combatant with a finisher, which is only PvE, you and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regeneration. And these reserve overshields can be deployed by using your class ability, which again can work in a team. You get bonus damage for yourself if you like the invisibility stuff, and invisibility helps your team, and then you can also give them an overshield, which I don't expect to be very powerful. It's a bit confusing, it really depends how it works with Void. Following that, the Warlock exotic known as Fallen Sunstar, where Ionic Traces move faster and give you additional ability energy. And furthermore, nearby allies also gain ability energy when you collect an Ionic Trace. Again, that interaction with the subclass, more Ionic Traces, more ability energy, giving you more Ionic Traces, giving you more Jolted, more Amps, and you're giving that all to your teammates. This seems like a great way for the Warlock to stand out and have a lot of ability kills. However, I don't know yet, but it may not be better than Crown of Tempest for solo play or just for you. Following that, for the first weapon, the exotic weapon we have today is going to be the Delicate Tomb, which is an exotic arc fusion rifle, which you can find on the season pass, which by the way, all of those exotic armors are found in Legend or Master Lost sectors. Now this one specifically, many people will probably use and forgotten about, but it's very interesting again for the same reasons I said before. Not only are you allowed to actually aim down sights and shoot it straight, which is very important because that horizontal thing is sometimes annoying, final blows of this weapon have a chance to generate Ionic Traces. Again, interactions with this subclass, more Ionic Traces, more ability stuff, which is very important. And on top of that, collecting the Ionic Trace overcharges this weapon's next shot, jolting targets on hit. Again, that little cycle where you get ability kills for Ionic Traces, you get kills with this for Ionic Traces, you get more Jolted gives you more kills, more Ionic Traces, can work. Maybe some interesting stuff in the subclass, so don't forget about it. After that, the first legendary weapon, we have the Malicious Birthright, which I assume is one of the new Nightfall uniques. And this one specifically is a Kinetic lightweight frame grenade launcher. Now, specifically, this one we have seen in the past. Obviously, this is a new version of it and has a lot of incredible perks. Slideways, Ambitious Assassin, Quick Draw, Let from Gold, even all of those just in third column. In fourth column, we have Auto Loading, Frenzy, One for All, Pugilist or Swashbuckler. Incredible perk options, very easy, and also has obviously these spike grenades and blinding grenades as an option, on top of probably having an adept version. Following that, we have the Pure Poetry, a legendary Kinetic 120 aggressive frame hand cannon. Now, again, a lot of people don't really like hand cannons, and this one specifically doesn't have explosive payload on it, but there are a number of things that I think would be quite interesting. And again, 120s are not nearly as bad as people think they are. First of all, it has things like Frenzy, which solves the handling and reload stuff on top of giving more damage. It also has Elemental Capacitor, has Opening Shot, it has Ambitious Assassin, it has a number of different perks that can solve a lot of those issues with handling, including New Steady Hands, which is really nice, or Perpetual Motion, which is very easy. Following that, we have the Ally Demand, which is a legendary kinetic adaptive frame single shot sidearm. Now, usually I only like the 3-shot, the 2-shot, or the exotics, but this one has caught my attention for a couple of reasons. First of all, it does only have a 12 zoom, which is online with most sidearms except the Drang, which has a 14 zoom. It's crazy. It has 2 or 3 perks that are really good. First of all, it can get Rangefinder plus Frenzy, which is already an incredible perk combination, but can also get Rangefinder plus Iron Reach, which allows that range to get ridiculously high on this kind of sidearm, which is already a very low range sidearm, allowing you to get pretty high up, turning a 12-meter range sidearm to like 17 or 18 meters, and that's outside of all the other range bonuses that it can get. Probably like almost 20 meters of range on a sidearm, which is crazy. Following that, we have the Blood Feud, which is a legendary stasis aggressive frame 750 submachine gun. Now, personally, I find the aggressive frames to be my favorite. Great middle zone of range, perk options, of availability, of handling, stability, mag size. It feels really great. And this one, recoil direction of 97, is pretty good. And furthermore, new perks that are really good as well. Frenzy, Headstone, Elemental Capacitor, Focus Fury, Ambitious Assassin, Dynamic, Triple Tap, new Pugilist. There's a lot of great stuff here that I would highly recommend you take a look at, and it's readily available from the new seasonal stuff. After that, we have a legendary solar precision frame 450 auto rifle. Now, usually I don't like 450 auto rifles, but this has some pretty incredible perk options on it, and if they ever buff the 450s, it's going to be a really great option. It has pretty much every perk is amazing. Dynamic Sway, Stats for All, Triple Tap, Surplus, Ambitious Assassin, Well-Rounded, just for column 3. On column 4, One for All, Adaptive Munitions, Incandescent, Tap, Gutshot, Pugilist, Adrenaline Junkie. So many incredible perks on one weapon, meaning that a lot of combinations are going to be great. And this one, if I remember correctly, is a world drop. After that, we have the Yesteryear, a legendary Void Adaptive Frame 390 Pulse Rifle. Now, usually these are pretty stock standard, run-of-the-mill, and this one's from Gambit, making it annoying, but it has a very unique perk known as Desperado. Now, we have only ever seen Desperados on 340 pulse rifles before, and now this is the first one with a 390, which obviously a very saturated pool coming from Gambit, but Desperado could do some crazy stuff. We don't know what it's like yet, and I'm looking forward to eventually getting a 540 with Desperado, which would be insane. Oh, dude, sick 540. Mine's 900. On top of a lot of other great perks that's very saturated. Keeping in mind, if you get one of these, you can technically focus it from the Drifter when you have enough of those engrams. Following that, we have the Tarnished Metal, which is a legendary arc lightweight frame 200 RPM scout rifle. Now, normally, again, I'm not a big fan of scout rifles, but this not only has explosive payload, which makes everything better, but also has a new perk known as Voltshot, which reloading this weapon after a kill overcharges the weapon for a short period of time, causing it to jolt on the next target. A jolt is like the Risk Runner thing, where it just chains lightning at a target. Again, you get one kill this weapon, reload, next shot is a Volt Shot, which is actually sounds really fun. And 200 RPMs are some of my favorite scout rifles, on top of some other really great perks as well. Following that, we have the Brigand's Law, which is a sidearm of the legendary arc variety and a rapid fire frame. Now, usually I don't like rapid fire sidearms. They run out of ammo very quickly. Shoots at 450 with 15 magazine very quickly. But this one, just like the last one, has Volt Shot as an option, which sidearms are more likely to get kills quicker. You're causing Volt Shot to kill probably enemies, probably giving you more Volt Shot. And that sounds like a lot of fun. On top of that, it also has Pugilist, where final blows of this weapon grant melee energy, and dealing melee damage briefly improves this weapon's handling, which is a good interaction with this weapon, melee damage, and the new, obviously, Arc 3.0 melee style. Or you can consider it with the Titan's Bonk Hammer, which you're getting all the time, and this is a great combination. After that, we have the Taipan 4FR, a legendary Void Precision Frame Linear Fusion Rifle, obviously the single shot variety. And this one's unique for a number of ways. First of all, it has a lot of incredible perks on it. It has Field Prep, Clown Cartridge, Triple Tap, has Box Breathing, Focus Fury, Frenzy, and most importantly, it has Firing Line. Now, Firing Line is very important for a number of reasons, on top of the fact that this is craftable, by the way. Firing Line is important because the only other linears with Firing Line is Reed's Regret, which comes from Trials, and Storm Tracer, which is obviously an aggressive frame, a little bit different. This is the first time outside of Reed's Regret we can get Firing Line on a linear fusion rifle, which is very important for DPS, and allows us normal people to actually have it. I don't like playing Trials, and it takes forever to get a Reed's Regret on it. Following that, we have the Roar of the Bear, a legendary solar high-impact frame rocket launcher, and I love this this thing before they sunset it had great stats outside of the fact that high impacts have big blast radius and a high handling, which is, in my opinion, the most important parts. It also now, again, has incredible perk options. I don't think there's a single perk on this for column 3 and 4 that isn't an incredible option. Ambitious, Snapshot, Field Prep, Demo, Tracking Module, Impulse, just for third column. On fourth, we have Vorpal, Autoloading, Cluster, Lasting Impressions, Chain, and Incandescent. This thing has incredible perk options with incredible blast radius, handling, damage options, etc. that I'm looking very much forward to. And obviously we do have Palermo B these days, which is enhanced autoloading plus enhanced explosive light, which is incredible, but it's good to have a different damage type option. And finally, the 15th one is a bit of a weird one. It's going to be the King's Fall weapons. Now, currently, the King's Fall weapons, including Touch of Mallets, which is the exotic weapon, is not currently on LightGG. So I can't see their new perks, I can't see perk combinations, and I can't give you a good idea of what seems interesting outside of what we can see in the collections, which is pretty stock standard and stat-based. I would just take a moment to say, first of all, the exotic Touch of Malice was very good in D1, probably going to be pretty good in D2. Hopefully, it's not like Mythoclast when it first came out. And of course, the other options could also be very nice as well. And before we end it, I just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreons. Without their help, videos like this, the spreadsheets you'll see soon, are not possible without their help. So specifically, a big thank you to Mom and Dad, Postal and Boxer World, Money, Subak, Mr. Panther, Casey Reagan, follow us on Patreon. And that's it. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name is Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.